COVID-19 is a major issue in the final stretch of the campaign, and both candidates have very different approaches to the health crisis. As Mike Armstrong reports from West Virginia, there's a huge difference between how their supporters see it too.
This state is about as red as they get. The latest poll in West Virginia gives Donald Trump a 2-to-1 advantage. It's not that there aren't many Biden signs here. There aren't even many Trump signs. The campaign doesn't need them.
I feel confident, yeah.
Gail Hartley's doing her part with a Trump flag and jokes that West Virginians sort of get ignored during presidential elections.
I think the last presidential candidate we had was George Bush.
So that's a while ago.
That's a while ago. We don't see them.
Now, what this state has in common with others is its struggle with COVID-19. The 7-day average of positive tests has jumped close to 50% over the last 3 weeks. There's a severe upswing. West Virginia has 10 days of early voting. At one point, they had to close a polling station after a polling worker tested positive. Despite that, when the president complains about coverage of COVID-19, his supporters here tend to agree.
The media has blown it out of proportion.
I truly feel like he's trying to keep the country from panicking over it, to be quite honest with you.
Well, I've seen very few people sick, and I've seen a lot of people broke. Economically, it's been devastating.
Now, as Americans cast their ballots, the difference in how supporters of the candidates view the pandemic is striking. When asked about various issues, there's always a gap, but it's usually small. According to a recent poll on foreign policy, 50% of Biden voters say it's very important versus 53% of Trump voters. They're close on abortion, they're even close on Supreme Court appointments. But on the coronavirus outbreak, it's a massive gap. 82% of Biden supporters say it was very important to their vote, but only 24% of Trump supporters.
COVID, well, we have a spike.
That said, in a close election, even turning a small number of Republicans away from Trump can make a difference. There's a reason the president's been desperate to change the conversation.
COVID, he's complaining.
And his critics have pushed it hard.
The more we're talking about it, the worse it becomes for Donald Trump. The fact that he himself was diagnosed with it was not a great look for his campaign.
Now, there is another way the pandemic has hurt Trump. His strongest argument going into this campaign would have been the economy. Well, the bottom's fallen out of that because of COVID-19. Trump still pushes it, but instead of saying, look what we built, he has to say, we'll build it again. Robin?
Mike Armstrong in West Virginia. Thanks, Mike.